Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Jo. I make videos about planners, fountain pens, notebooks, stationery and all the likes. So if that's something you're interested in, please feel free to hit the subscribe button and follow me along. I just want to say thank you ever so much to everybody who has subscribed recently. I've had quite a big jump in subscribers this week, which has been really nice to see, especially considering I haven't actually posted a proper video. I did a bit of an ink swatch video in the midweek, but still, I'm very grateful. Thank you so much. This week's video is a bit of a special one. Oh, before I do, a couple of housekeeping. I've upgraded my microphone. I have a new microphone, which is fun. So we're testing that out this week. We will see how it works. It's just a like £30 one from Amazon. It's not even a branded one, but I'm a bit concerned because it's omnidirectional. It might pick up some of the sounds from outside, so we will see. It may also pick up how squeaky my chair is, so apologies if that creeps you out. But also, I apologise for the state of my hands. They're not actually that bad now, but yesterday I spent the entire evening re-swatching all of my inks. I don't know whether you saw it on my community tab. I did post a really cool picture of them all in order. Ooh, it's really difficult to flip through actually. But yeah, I've re-swatched all of my inks onto these new ink swatch cards, which are a lot better than the previous ones that I had. I don't think I've got any of the previous ones close to hand actually. But they were like these special wearing gall ones that it would like, the ink would just stay on one part of the card, and it meant that, do I have one in hand? Hold on, I'm struggling to explain. I do. It basically had this design and it keeps the ink in one spot, but I found that this little bit here, it was just really annoying to do and took ages, where these ones are a bit easy because I can just take a Q-tip and just swizzle, and it just makes it a lot faster, and they're all cohesive. But yeah, I got ink everywhere. I got ink on my floor. Luckily it came up really easily, but my hands were completely inked. And then when I checked myself in the bathroom this morning, I also had ink on my neck. So how I managed that, I don't know, but it was like a good couple of hours of the evening that I spent doing that, which was really fun. Do I have any other housekeeping bits? I don't think so. I think we're good to go. Okay, this week's video. I've been off this week. I've had a week off and I've just had a bit of a staycation, not done much. I've done a couple of like London adventure things. I went to Oxford on Monday. I went to Kew Gardens on Thursday, had a really good time. But I've also been organising and sorting out my stationery. And part of that is I've been in a very reflective mood around my planner. Not so much my journals or my memory keeping, but more around my planners. Because my planner is something that I jump quite a lot in, and I feel like I've jumped more than I actually have. So this is my last year and a bit of planners since I got back into paper planning, and I thought it'd be good to reflect together and just take a look at what I've been using, what worked, and see what lessons I can take going into the next half of the year. This has also been sprung upon me by I've been spending a lot of time watching people's half-year Techokages and like mid-year check-ins, and I'm getting a lot of like FOMO of people who have completed an entire book or like completed half their book and stuck with their system so far in the year, especially the Common Corner. I watched her video where she's coming to the end of her first avec, and I'm just like, oh, it's so beautiful. I want that in my life. So I thought what would be good is if we take a look through all of my planners that I've been using since March 2023, which is when I got back into paper planning, and just kind of take a little bit of a lesson learned, see what worked, see what didn't, so that I can take that into the next half of the year. So let's move 2024's pile to one side and start with 2023. So I got back into paper planning in March 2023 when I discovered Megan Rhiannon's videos. I think quite a lot of people got back into paper planning after discovering her, and she used a Fieldnotes, so I used a Fieldnotes. And I think at the time I had this in a passport traveler's notebook with one of the weekly blank weekly planners, and it was working pretty well for me. Now I can't even imagine being in a passport. It's way too small, but it worked because it was just nice and compact. I think I also bought a moleskin at that point, but I hated the paper, so I got rid of it really quickly. I now cannot use passport traveler's notebooks. They're way too small, but I had a passport anyway, so I wanted to use something that I already had. So I used this from the 28th of February, 2022? No, that should be 2023. To the 11th of March, 2023. I just realised that's my email address. Let's hide that. Here's the dots, the planning, journaling, commonplacing. I was using a dot system. I put some key dates here, some intentions. Learn about the Moomins. That's funny. Re-establish a workout routine, read 4 books and listen to 2 audiobooks. This is when I started my very lengthy reading slump. Here, oh my goodness, how much was I planning to track? Jeez, I would not be able to do that these days. I am moving this into my traveler's notebook. This is very much a experiment. You know, I'd gone from planning in Notion and Google Calendar into a notebook again, so it felt very weird. And obviously because this is a this is a like just undated blank notebook, there was probably quite a lot of freedom that I probably didn't really fully understand what I was going to do. Here's my traveler's notebook. I decided to go for it and buy a traveler's notebook. Oh, apparently I bought one. Okay, I thought I had one already. I need a charm. Zippy wallet, grid for year, calendar, blank for notes. Okay, asked Mum about April travel dates. Clearly that was important. At that time as well, I was still writing my to-do list on sticky notes every single day, because Notion's not exactly the best for keeping an eye on what you needed to do, and that was still a habit of mine of just writing it on a sticky note. Some journaling. This is when I was doing some research into a Instax camera. I was trying to pick between the Mini 40 and the Lomography, and I got the Lomography in the end, but I don't really like it. It feels like it's going to fall apart in my bag. So I'm actually thinking about getting I think it's the Fujifilm one that you can also print pictures from, as well as take photos and print them out. I can't remember exactly which one it's called, but I'm thinking about investing in that next month. I got a day off. Oh, this is when I went to Photographer's Gallery. I remember that. This is when I got my Instax. I went to, where did I go? I think I went to the National Gallery. Oh my god, my handwriting is so messy in this. I liked the Fieldnotes notebooks because I filled it up so quickly, but I did find that the paper wasn't great, and because it's so small, I find the smaller the notebook, the worse my handwriting is. The anatomy. Oh, this is where I really started thinking about, okay, what's actually going to work for me. Fieldnotes, Canary Wharf. Oh yeah, in Canary Wharf there's this, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a machine that prints out poems and sonnets for you, which is pretty cool. I really like in Canary Wharf there is a rooftop garden, which is really, really pretty. Yeah, so we've got a new dot system, memories, ramblings, learnings. I'm very proud of myself for not starting a new notebook when I changed my system and just kind of being like, right, okay, from now on, this is the new system. Animal Crossing island planning. I really want to get back into Animal Crossing. I went to Kew Gardens on Thursday and I was just like walking around being like, oh, I can recreate this in Animal Crossing, it's so cool. But then I know that I always flatten my island and then get overwhelmed and just stop. Oh, plotter research. I was thinking about getting a plotter and I'm so glad I didn't, because rings is just not for me, and plotters are expensive, so expensive, especially in the UK, because they're not stocked in the UK, so we have to import them from the States or Japan, and it's just way too much. Clearly some more changes in my journal. I was probably changing things around quite a lot at this point because I just wanted to experiment and try loads of different things. I got a new stencil, and I'm also forgetting to use my other Sarasa pens, which have these very beautiful colours. Oh, I think I brought the vintage Sarasas at that point. Did I draw that? That's actually not that bad for me. Oh, Finn, this is my friend's dog. We went for a walk in, where did we go for a walk? Richmond Park. Oh yeah, Richmond Park. It's Richmond Park. And then that's the end. I did start a second Fieldnotes book, but I very quickly just realized, you know what, I needed more space. And I was using the regular size traveler's notebook by that point. So I actually started using, let me find it out. I moved into this notebook very quickly after my Fieldnotes. So this is pretty much a continuation. I mean, I think there was a bit of a gap, 6th of April, yeah. So there was a couple of weeks gap where I was probably trying out different things. I did a little bit of planning in here, but mostly it was journaling, commonplacing, reflecting, yeah, here. So I did a bit of planning here, but then obviously was like, nope, that's not working. Hold on. There's an audiobook I read, did loads of hiking, that was fun to track, a new commonplace dot system. I think it's okay to change your dot system quite regularly. I was obsessed with Venus at that point. I watched so many videos about Venus. I also had these vintage stickers from this book that I had that I was using those because it's like everything used to be vintage looking. Now that's just not my style. Oh, this is a good picture. This was my pen case way back when. This is like the only stationery I had at that point. Like now I have about 20 pencil cases and loads of pens. Life was just simpler. Went for a really long walk. More vintage stickers. I went to Travelers Camps Travelers Company Stamp Caravan in All Things Analogue in Eastbourne. That was a really good day. It's nice flicking through all this together. Oh, we went to a party. Here's where it all started going crazy, which is when I had my Hobonichi. Am I still in shot? I am, yes, well done. I started like looking into Hobonichi. There's more notes and writing and reflections and focus on what you can control. It's very good. Oh, I remember this. I was sat in the park. I was having a really bad day and kind of just, I was working on a project last year that went horrendously bad. It was just such a nightmare. And it was a really tough time. It was a really bad year for me. And I decided to, I went to a park one night and I was like, just writing and trying to think, do I want to continue with this or do I want to quit and get a new job? But I decided to continue it until I had a mental breakdown, went into hospital, and then I was forced to move off that project, but still. So I finished my Fieldnotes and I moved into the Traveller's Notebook that I just flipped through, as well as the weekly insert. So at first, because I was just experimenting, I brought the undated. I haven't flipped through this in a really long time. Probably use this for a bit of planning. Oh gosh, that's really not my style anymore. And I think, yeah, I remember watching Megan Rhiannon's Weeks video and I used this pretty much the same as her. But oh my God, look how terrible my handwriting is. But I did switch things up a little bit just to kind of try different things out. So I was pretty consistent in just writing a summary of each day. I clearly did some food tracking, my habits, chores, tasks. Do you know what, actually that's a really good point. I did like separating out my chores from my tasks. Might start doing that again. Then I tried doing my tasks on this side. Did I stick with that? No, I went back. Oh, that's cute. I like that. I forgot I did that. Bit more of like dashboardy style tracking. Back to journaling, and then I think, yeah, this is when I was like, I went into London Graphic Centre and they had the predated ones really cheap. I think they were like £15 because at this point it was March time. I feel like this year the dated planners went out of stock so quickly, especially the vertical weeks. It was insane. But yeah, carried on kind of experimenting. This time I did the tasks on that side and journaling on this side. That clearly didn't work. And then, oh, apparently I didn't use it for 2 weeks. And then I went back to this. Oh, I really like the weather down the side. That's really cute. Might start doing that again. Clearly went wrong here, so I had to like stick a page over the top. I was also using these really tiny Sortilia stickers, which was cute. But yeah, and then, oh my gosh, why is my handwriting so tiny? What happened there? That's interesting. Put my tasks there, some notes here, and then it's clearly trying to do some sort of tracking there, but that didn't work and went back to this. That's cool. Oh, I remember this now. I then decided to stop using this as my planner because June is when I started experimenting with Hobonichi. So I started doing my planning in a Hobonichi weeks, but I wanted to continue using this to memory keep. So I would write a little summary of the day here, and then a highlights, goals, feelings next week, a little bit of a summary. That was really fun, actually. I like doing that. Oh, I did this for a lot longer than I thought I did, and then I obviously stopped. Because I think at that point I got my A6, so it just felt like duplicating information, but that was fun. So we're kind of into June at this point, well, at the end of June, and then in July I picked up the Avec. And this was my very first Hobonichi, and when I picked this up I was like, oh my gosh, it's so small, and the grid is really small. So I think it took me a while to get into it. I haven't looked at this in ages. Okay, so I did a bit of habit tracking at the beginning. Clearly did not keep that up. The monthlies. Can you tell I was influenced by Megan Rhiannon, by these stars? This is just full of loads of really weird information. Really mood tracking. Don't know what this is. Maybe sleep? No, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really need to label things on here, don't I? Could be energy, actually, because at this point, yeah, actually that might be energy, because at this point I started to get a lot of burnout from work. Some more monthlies. Hobonichi launch 2024. And then I think this was when I was dipping between, so at this point I was dipping between this book plus a notebook, like a Hobonichi notebook, but I don't get on with the Hobonichi notebooks at all. I find that the grid going to the end of the page and the size of the grid makes my handwriting look really, really messy, and it bugged me. So then I didn't want this just on its own in the cover because it felt really flimsy. So then I went to get the full original, so it's a bit bulkier, so it felt a bit better in my hands, which is just a ridiculous excuse to spend more money on planners. So yeah, July the 1st, London Pride. Here's a picture of my very first Hobonichis. I had like the Paris cover because it was the cheapest one you can get on Amazon. I was pretty consistent with writing my to-do lists or something up at the top. Well, I think at this point I had my week, so I didn't write my to-do list in here, but I would write a little summary of my day and then journal here. Got my new TWSBI. So yeah, this is also when I started experimenting with fountain pen inks. So I used this blue one for a long time. Wow. New Homer, but it's meant to say home. I was just trying to be fancy. This is August. So this is when I first moved into my flat. This is quite bare for me. Probably really, really busy. Saturday, relaxing day. Yeah, trying to like track kind of what I got up to, what I was listening to, what I was watching. My handwriting started getting a bit neater in this. Got all the different stickers. Got these are Midori stickers, they're so cute. Really starting to experiment with stickers now. This is where it all started. And then we must have moved into this one. Let's have a look. August, yes. So August, pretty much the 26th, moved into here. Then we're in September, still in here. Gosh, I can't believe I can't remember this. Ugh, can't remember being in this for this long. And what's happened here? The 9th. Watch me have like. Do you see what I mean? Like, what was I thinking? I was like flicking between 2 different notebooks. I got my days mixed up. Right, and then watch the 14th to the 15th of September. I would have come back in here. What was I doing? Am I even in shot? I am in shot, okay. Yeah, that's funny. Oh God. I was really trying to make the whole 2-book system in an A6 cover work for me, but it just really annoyed me so much. Gosh, I was really consistent with this. What happened, Joe? Well, what happened was I spend too much time watching YouTube and watching other people's setups and being like, I want that to work for me. What's that? I'm so done. I thought I said I'm so alone. Oh, this is when work really started getting horrendous. And actually, I think, yeah, today I'm finally off the project. I had to ring my boss and I was just crying and I was like, I have to get off this project, else I'm never going to be able to work again. It's ridiculous. So yeah, this October and November were not good times for me. So hold on, let's see. Right, October the 22nd. Did we move back into here? Oh, apparently moved back in here for 1 day in September. October the 22nd. Oh, apparently I didn't. Okay. Maybe I just didn't update this for a while. Rainy day. Had a hippie tea. I think that should have said chippy tea. Had a hippie tea. Oh, yeah, I've been neglecting this journal lately and not a lot has been having. Work has been a bit weird. So yeah, I think I was just in a really, really bad state. Got some new covers for my journals. Zora, my sister's cat, got a new bow on her collar. Fourth wing. I think we've all got that page in our journals. Yeah, I did a bit more neglecting here. Or I went back into here. What did I do? Nope, neglected. There's a couple of pages in here, but mainly neglecting. Yeah, wasn't using this that much, and then I think I really started to pick this up again. MDB6. New PET tapes. Oh wow, I thought I got these. Oh no, those would have been samples. This is very, oh my gosh, this is when I got stuck on the Elizabeth line for 4 hours. Ugh, that was a horrible day. I was bursting for a wee as well. And then they were like, if you need the toilet, you can jump off the train and wee on the tracks. I'm like, heck no, I'm sorry. It was a nightmare. Horrible day. This is all kind of like leading up to Christmas, but I was not in a good place leading up to Christmas. I was still I had a really bad cold. This was like the worst cold that I've ever had in my life. Ugh, it was horrible. Like, finally I'm feeling a bit better. I feel like this is more of a journal than a planner. I think I was also, oh, hold on, yeah, because this is December. I would have moved into my Hobonichi weeks for 2024, which I'm now using as a work planner. So did I have, where's December? Yeah, so I was like using my Hobonichi weeks in December. I think I used this for a couple of weeks, and then I moved into my Jibun Techo. So that's why this is all a little bit just like journaling rather than actually planning. And this was the spring, but I didn't use any of the other bits. So yeah, that was my first stint into Hobonichi. I did also have a Hobonichi weeks, but I cannot find that for the life of me, and I think I must have thrown it out, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if I did, because I think it wasn't used that much. So we're now in December, and in December I started using the Hobonichi weeks, thinking that was going to work, and then I picked up the Jibun Techo, and I had so much fun in this format wise, oh my god, that's all my swimming thing from the swimathon that I didn't end up doing. I love this journal, this planner as a concept. The actual structure is great. I just did not like the design and the styles. Okay, there's a lot of habit tracking here. I was in this most of December and January actually, maybe even a little bit of February. But yeah, I think it's a brilliant notebook, but I just didn't particularly, it just felt a little, just wasn't vibing with me, I think. And I think the thing that I did really like about it is a vertical weekly. And I was like, oh, I really like this. I like it because it's kind of like a bit of a dashboard style. I was like putting all my to-dos down the side. I was tracking my sleep. I was like keeping to-do lists. I was also tracking what I was eating and how much money I spent. And this has kind of really inspired me. I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. I have some ideas of what I want to do for the second half of 2024, but I don't want to share them yet because I may potentially completely change my mind. But yeah, I had all my tasks at the top. I like blocked out work. I did like planner freak out story of my life. But yeah, and then I just kind of got fed up of the colors, and also it is quite cramped. This notebook is like the grid size is quite small, similar to Hobonichi, but also I just kind of felt like, I don't know, it just wasn't working anymore. Also, because it is a B6 Slim, I was using this in my Roterfaden Taschenbegleiter, which is a great notebook cover. It's a B6 notebook cover, but it's so heavy, ridiculously heavy, because it's got metal clips in it. And I was just finding that's too heavy and clunky for me to carry around. So I moved on from this. And what did I go to? Did I go to, oh yes, I went to a Hobonichi Weeks. So I went back, there's a video on my channel, which actually is the most viewed video on my channel, which is down to 2 books, because at the time that I was using this, I had so many notebooks on the go because I wanted to use all the systems. So I decided to downsize because things were a bit hectic at work. I decided to downsize, just use Hobonichi Weeks and the Hobonichi A6. And this is a Weeks Mega that is in the worst blue cover. I think I covered this with some paper I got from Choosing Keeping. And I was like, this is going to be my new system. I'm so happy about it. I used it for 1, 2, 3, nearly 4 weeks. And it's weird because this system is what I used for so long in the Travelers. So it's weird that this didn't work for me, but I wonder whether I was just kind of like, oh, I really want to be in a vertical again. And it was at the end of this that I moved into my Hobonichi Cousin. I brought a Spring Start and I was redating, where is it? Yeah, Mum. Yeah, yes, this is like, yeah, the 4th of March. So I was redating the back of the 2025 portion of the Hobonichi Cousin. Let me just make sure I'm in shot a little bit up. Yeah, I was redating this and using this for a little while. And I actually really loved this planner. I thought it was brilliant. It was great that I could have my weekly and my daily check-ins and everything in one notebook. It was just A, too chunky for me, and B, I got distracted by a holiday. So we'll get into that in a second. But I really enjoyed this because I used the bit where I had my work as my to-do list. I was tracking my sleep. I was tracking what I was eating at the bottom. I was tracking what I was watching and reading, like all my media. It gave me enough space to plan and log on the same page, which meant that I didn't have to interact with like 20 notebooks every evening. Oh, clearly did not do that. And yeah, I can show you just a couple of pages in the back. So then I was also using the back to do a bit of journaling and writing. And I had so much fun in this notebook, to the point that, spoiler alert, I've actually been using this week, and I've been really enjoying it. And I don't want to say too much about it because, you know, we'll see. But I'm like, why have I been neglecting this? Like, this works. The only thing that I don't like about it is how fat it is. It's just too chunky for me. So I don't know. I might buy an Avec for the rest of the year, but we'll see, because at the moment I just want to just see if this is actually going to work long term for me. But yeah, so we are kind of like, it's now April. I was in here for the first couple of weeks of April, and then I went on holiday. I went to Madrid, and when I went to Madrid, I set up a traveler's notebook, which was the first time I set up a traveler's notebook in a while, and I was like, oh, I miss this. I miss this so much. So I ended up setting up a traveler's notebook weekly vertical. I think weekly vertical is my go-to. I love it so much. It's brilliant. And I was using this, and it was going so well. I had this plus my grid insert for journaling, and everything was working perfectly. And then things got a little bit quiet just in life. May was a intentionally very quiet month for me, and I just didn't need a planner. I was just writing my to-do list down on a sticky note, like something like this, and then ticking it all off, and it was great. But now I'm at the point where for the second half of the year, I want to really focus on my health and fitness. I've been in a bit of a slump the last couple of months, and I'm not feeling very happy. I'm not feeling very energetic, and I think it is affecting my mood. I also want to kind of spend more time with friends and family now that it's summer. I've been a bit of a recluse over the last couple of weeks, which is fine. I think it's important to take time to yourself. But I also need to study for my job. There's a couple of key skills that I need to improve on, that I need to do some studying for. So I decided that I do now need a planner back in my life. In my last video, I mentioned that I was using the day free. That is not working for me at all. I need structure. I need a dated planner for it to work, else I just abandon it and forget where I am in the days, and I get lost and I get really confused. So I've kind of just thought, oh, do you know what harm is it to pick out a notebook that I'd already had in my stash and just kind of see if this works, and then I'll decide what I want to do for the second half of the year. And this is working so well. This has been this week, so I've only just been in it this week, and I think what I'll do is I'll just experiment until the end of the month, and then Hobonichi released the second half of the year as an Avec, which is interesting because it'll be full circle, because that's what I did for the last half of the year in 2023, and then I kept jumping back into a spring full size version. Let's hope if I did do that I would stick with the one size, but this is just too big and bulky. I find it really difficult to write at the bottom. I also want to be able to stick in stickers and photos and everything into the notebook, and have this as my main system. This is something that I interact with every single day. This is what I keep on top of, but then I will also have, if this works, because this is what I'm doing at the moment, I also have a traveler's grid insert. I'm currently using the Moomin one that came with this cover for like my creative journaling, which I'm really behind on, so behind on. So this is kind of like tracking my adventures, memory keeping, books I'm reading, all that kind of stuff. If I need more space, I can come into here and kind of go into more detail, because funnily enough, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I don't actually have enough space on this A5 for those kind of days. Like every odd day I have enough room, because basically, actually I can show you, because I did this. So this has actually changed. Instead of tasks, I've changed this to gratitude. yeah, I've basically been using the top for gratitude, this section for morning check-in, and then that's everything that I do in the morning. And then in the evening I come in and put a daily log down. So similar to what I was doing in here actually, where I was like, said morning journals, packing time, rainy London adventure, starting my Hobo weeks for music, like just tracking what I've been up to that day. Down the side, and then down here is an evening check-in. So these check-ins are very much like, this is how I'm feeling, these are my intentions for the day, this is what I want to get done, this is my mood. And then the evening check-in is, this is how the day's gone, this is how I'm feeling, this is what went well, that kind of thing, like key pieces of information. So it works really well on days where not a lot happens, which is most of my days. Most days I just work and then maybe go to the gym in the evening. Not a lot does happen. But then on days where I like go out and meet friends or go to a museum or go to an art gallery, I need more space to just be able to write about that kind of stuff. So that's where my traveler's notebook is going to come in. I think this might be my system for the second half. We're trialing, and then we'll make a decision. But I am just kind of like, the last couple of weeks I've not felt like I've been in a system. I feel like I've just been experimenting with different notebooks and I haven't felt settled. So I do kind of feel like I need to stick to what I know. And looking back at the last year, like when I was either in Travelers or Hobonichi, and I always had my planner, which was the Hobonichi, and then my Travelers notebook, which was for more kind of like memory keeping. And this kind of system definitely works, whether it's an A6 or an A5. But this kind of has worked in the past. I do also have, in addition to this, this Leuchtturm notebook, which is just a plain lined notebook, and this is my very personal diary. So this is for all the thoughts and feelings that I don't want to accidentally reveal on YouTube, because I am very conscious that now that I show my planners online, there are things that I just don't want people to read and know about, and I want to be able to flip through my travelers inserts and not be like, oh, I need to blur that because I really don't want people knowing that that's what's on my mind. So yeah, that's kind of the intention. And then just some other ideas that are floating around that I haven't decided upon, but also haven't spent any money on, so it's not that bad, is I do have this random Hobonichi Weeks that I was originally going to be using for media tracking. I felt like I had loads of printouts of some stuff in here. I don't know whether I even actually used this at all. Did I use this at all? But I don't think I did. Oh no. Oh, apparently I tried in January to use this as a to-do list, but it is completely blank. And I'm thinking about using this as a health and fitness log, but I am worried that this might be a little bit too taxing in addition to tracking it in my Hobonichi Cousin. So we might give it a bit of a trial. But I mean, I brought this in the September launch, and it's just been sat on my shelf. So if this fails, it's not necessarily the end of the world, because at least I tried it. And then the other thing that I really want to use is, because I have so many A6 covers, I was thinking about repurposing this day free. So, oh, actually, I didn't show you this earlier. I was using the day free for a couple of weeks early in June, and I did that much. And then Thursday the 6th of June, I was like, nope. But I was thinking about using this as a bit of a hobbies journal, so tracking things like ink, stationery. I also do a lot of cross stitch, and I love puzzles as well, as in like jigsaw puzzles. I usually do like a jigsaw puzzle every 2 weeks. So I kind of felt like maybe using this to track that, and then all the books that I'm reading and the music I'm listening to. But again, if this fails, it's no harm, because I already had these in my stash, and it's not like I've spent money on it, so we'll see. So these two are like maybes or optionals, and then these two are my main system, plus my Leuchtturm, which is for personal journaling. But yeah, this is what I'm thinking about. And I think in addition to that, one of the things that I have been thinking about is, like, I remember a couple of weeks ago I made a video about, it doesn't matter what notebooks I'm in as long as I'm using them. And I'm trying to make sure that I keep that in mind, because sometimes, especially when you post your notebooks on YouTube or on Instagram, for example, there is an element of fear of coming on here and saying, hey, I'm switching up my system, in case people are like, oh goodness, why are you changing again? Or people are going to judge me, that kind of mentality. But at the end of the day, I have to just focus on what works right for me. Like the system that I use shouldn't be created because I think people online are going to like it, or people are going to follow me or watch the video. And I don't want to have the mentality of like, well, if I use Hobonichi, more people watch it than if I use Travelers. I want to make sure that I'm using the stationery that works for me at that time in my life. And I'm using the stationery that I love, that I personally connect to. And I'm really feeling drawn to Hobonichi at the moment, but I also still love my Travelers. And so using all of the systems, even if they don't fully work, just keeps me happy, because this is my hobby and I really enjoy it. There was another thing I was going to mention. I should have written this down. I need to start being more organised. What was I going to say? Oh yes, and also I think my system does fluctuate depending on what is going on. So for May, I think my system really kind of went a bit crazy because I was so burnt out and mentally fatigued. So it made sense that my planner system was also burnt out and mentally fatigued. But right now I'm kind of feeling really intentional on sorting some stuff out and setting some goals and really achieving them and pushing to achieve them. And also meeting up with more friends and hanging out with my friends a bit more and going on more adventures. I really want to maybe go to a concert or I want to go on another holiday, go on another trip this year. So it just feels like a traveler's notebook will help me kind of capture that in one little area. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. Kind of late April, early May as well, my mentality towards my system was I want to have as many notebooks as possible at the end of the year. I was trying to combine lots of different things into one notebook so that I can just sit here and be like, look at all these notebooks I filled out at the end of the year. But in all honesty, if it takes me 6 months to fill in one insert in a traveler's notebook, and 6 months to fill in this day free, and 6 months to fill in the Hobonichi, and even if it's just these notebooks that I use for 6 months, I think that will make me really happy, because it's kind of nice, just like, even though this is a bit of a mess, it's just nice being able to flick through these, but it's so disjointed and it's difficult to understand where what is. So I think I need to get out of that mentality of being like, I need to fill in I have a huge collection of notebooks and be able to visually show how much I journal, rather than building a relationship with the notebooks that I'm using and curating them over a 6-month period. I think that's where my head is at the moment. It may change, let's face it. Has there ever been any consistency on this channel with my system? No, there hasn't. But I am really hoping to be a little bit more consistent in the next 6 months. Okay, I've rambled at you for God knows how long. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, please like, subscribe, and let me know what you're thinking about for the next 6 months and how your system's been going so far this year. And if you are consistent and you've been using one notebook like the Common Corner, we can all let me know, because I need to be inspired. Or if you've been having this sort of similar situation as me and just being like, I want to try everything out, try all the notebooks out, let me know, because we are not alone. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely weekend and week, and I will see you next week. Bye.